Hey, Joel here, Lil Bleu MG Midget Adventures, LILBLEU MG Midget Adventures. Today I'm doing just a recap on my power seat. People were wondering how I set it up for my power seat. The main problem I had was, I don't know if you've all had this issue, but with the factory carpet and the sliders, it always seemed like the seat was hard to move forward and backward, and I always just didn't want my wife to drive it because I needed to move the seat forward, and I had to get down on my knees, I had to reach underneath, I had to pull and cry and pull and pull. It was kind of a pain in the butt, so I finally got to the point where she just didn't drive it anymore. I promised her this year, because it is both our car, even though, it's my car, but, it's both our cars. And she wants to be able to take it for a spin. And if I'm not home, I don't, I want it to be able for her to do. So what I come up with was, last month I ended up having to get a new recliner, and I was looking at tearing it apart, getting ready for recycle, and I noticed the headrest motor was really tiny. I'm like, I could make the headrest motor and put it up underneath my car, underneath my tire, my seat. This is my tire, my car. Underneath my seat, and make it a power seat. Now I've come up with, I'm going to show you quick what I come up with here. Okay, hopefully this will say, okay, so this is your setup here. So now what this is just some stock steel that I had in here. And what I did is I took your standard, I took right here, this bolt is actually, I think it's a 1/4 inch galvanized with a pan head. And what I did is I ran it through, and there's a nut in here. So now you see these plastic things. I'll get a little closer. These plastic things here were actually bottoms of the recliner. They go to the ground. It's a bolt, and then they have this so it doesn't scratch your floor. So now I got a 1/4 inch off the ground, so that'll keep the carpet from catching in with the mechanism. Well, I went another step forward, and I went with a piece of steel and a piece of steel. See, if you see here, I've got a piece of steel mounted to the down part, the movement part. It's connected to the frame, and then up here it's connected to the slides. Okay, so let's put this back up. So then I'm gonna have to run I have a 12 volt it's a cigarette lighter to 12 to 110 adapter that I use in my other cars. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have this here is a normal plug-in. I put a plug in here. I grabbed an outlet or a drop cord. Okay, so I plugged it in here. So now this is what you normally see on the end of a recliner. And so now look at let's see if it works. It's about 1.5 inches. If you figure out here, it's about 1.5 inches, but 1.5 inches is a lot when it comes to moving your seat forward and backwards. This is just a standard, I think you can see a standard wire. I ran it through, and it's got all this standard click here. This is going to go in, like I'm going to have set up underneath in my, I'm getting a really neat armrest from a guy on Facebook. I'll give him a shout out in the comments. He's actually does steering wheels and armrests, so I'm going to be purchasing them for my birthday present. And so then where the cigarette lighter is, I'm going to put this switch. It also has a USB, and then I'm going to put in underneath. That's where I'm going to mount the cigarette lighter and have it all set up. So that's kind of my plan. That's kind of what I've done. So if anyone wants to, even if you wanted to go with the spacers, you can go on to on Amazon and find these. And the reason why I like doing this and running a nut down is, I don't know about all of you, but when I take my bucket seat out every time I do work underneath my dash, I take the bucket seat out because it's so much easier to get underneath. And so every time it's like these things here wobble around, the bolts don't stay. This weld never holds because of the pan. You can't have a normal nut underneath because it'll hit. So what I have is the pan head galvanized. What I mean by pan head is it looks like this here.
that. See, then so now these bolts are never going to move. They're on there. They're never going to move. I could take the seat out. I can move it around, do whatever. Them bolts are never going to disappear. They're never. These aren't going to wobble around anymore, fall off the seat, fall down and hit the car. I'm not going to say, yeah, you know, accidents happen. So now I got one set unit. She's good to roll. So anyway, if anyone's interested in more information on how I did it or has any questions, just DM me. I really, you know, it was kind of just kind of crazy. I just kind of went with it. If you do get a recliner that you're throwing out, don't throw it away. Save the headrest motor. The floor motor, the motor that raises up the leg is way too big. It's down here. Bottle of UV. Save that for later. Well, anyway. This is Joel. That's Lil Bleu. And we're Lil Bleu, MG Midget Adventures. In a little garage. In a little town in Iowa. A little cold outside. With a little jacket. And just a little bit of time to explain to you how this little idea turned into awesomeness. Have a great day.